When Katherine Savinova stepped off the Greyhound bus in Portland, Oregon, years ago, she carried 2 suitcases, a sleeping 6-year-old boy, and a heart full of desperate hope. She had arrived from Russia with nothing but determination that her son, Leo, would grow up in a place where opportunities were as open as the endless American highways. Portland felt strange at first. The towering evergreens, the constant mist, the smell of roasted coffee and wet pavement, but she believed she could build a life there. During the day, Katherine worked 2 jobs, cleaning offices in the early morning and preparing salads at a downtown cafe until late evening. At night, when Leo slept, she studied English with old textbooks she borrowed from the library. She whispered sentences out loud, repeating them until her voice gave out. Her hands were always tired, her back always aching, but when she watched her son reading English storybooks with perfect pronunciation, her exhaustion felt worth it. She used to whisper to herself, "I will sacrifice anything for him." Anything. As Leo grew older, Katherine searched for deeper purpose. She had seen tragedy in her home country, accidents, fires, floods, and she felt compelled to help others. So when she learned about a volunteer search and rescue training program in the Oregon mountains, she signed up quietly. She told no one, not wanting her coworkers to think she was reckless or her son to fear for her safety. Training was grueling. She learned wilderness navigation, emergency first aid, rope techniques, and survival tactics. Bruised knees, scraped arms, frostbitten fingers, she endured it all. Her instructors respected her determination. "You've got the heart of 10 people," one of them said. Katherine only smiled. If they knew her past, her struggles, they would understand why she pushed so hard. By the time Leo turned 16, she was a respected part of the volunteer unit. Her team trusted her instincts. She could sense danger in the forest the way a sailor senses storms at sea. And whenever she returned from a rescue shift, mud-covered, soaked, and shivering, Leo would meet her at the door with a warm towel and a worried expression. "Mom, you shouldn't risk yourself like this," he used to say. Katherine would cup his face with her hands and whisper, "I must protect others the way I protect you. This is my purpose." Then came the night that changed everything. It was early autumn when heavy rain pounded the mountains non-stop for 2 days. Weather alerts blared on every phone. Landslide warnings, flash flood advisories, trail closures. But hikers are stubborn, and emergencies don't wait for good weather. Katherine's team received a call just before midnight. 2 families were trapped near a steep ridge. Their campsite had been struck by falling debris, and the path back downhill was blocked by mud. Katherine arrived at the base of the mountain with her squad. Winds howled, trees groaned under the weight of water, and the earth trembled in subtle, unsettling shifts. She strapped on her helmet, tightened her harness, and followed the team up the narrow trail. Mud squished under every step. Fog curled around the pines like ghostly fingers. Broken branches littered the ground, and water streamed down the slopes in uncontrolled torrents. The radio crackled endlessly, teams checking in, updates about shifting soil, warnings to be quick. When Katherine reached the trapped families, she saw panic in their eyes, children crying, adults shouting, their tents half buried. She rushed forward, comforting them, guiding them to safer ground. But as the team began leading the group downhill, the worst happened. The earth rumbled, deep, hungry, ominous. A massive crack split the ground just yards away. Someone screamed. Katherine turned and saw her son standing near the trail entrance. He had followed her team, terrified for her safety. "Leo, get back," she shouted, her voice cracking through the storm. He tried to run to her, but the ground buckled between them. Katherine didn't hesitate. She lunged forward, pushing him toward stable ground just as the slope beneath her gave way. Leo stumbled into safety, but she slipped, sliding with the collapsing earth. The world became a blur of mud, rocks, and roaring water. For a moment, she felt the mountain swallow her whole. Then everything went dark. By morning, rescue workers searched desperately, but the terrain was unstable. They found torn equipment, fragments of clothing, and deep trenches carved by the landslide. But they never found Katherine's body. Leo refused to believe she was gone. He insisted she might have survived, but officials gently told him that in such conditions, survival was impossible. After days of searching, the case was closed. The town mourned her team honored her bravery, and her loved ones buried an empty coffin, a symbolic gesture to allow people closure. At the funeral, rain fell gently on the wooden casket, and Leo placed his mother's red scarf on top of it. He whispered, "You didn't deserve this. You saved me, but I know you're not truly gone." Life moved on. Years passed. Leo grew into adulthood, driven by his mother's courage, becoming a firefighter, a guardian like she had been. But strange reports began surfacing around the mountains. Hikers claimed a mysterious woman had helped them when they were injured or lost, leading them to safety, leaving before authorities arrived. Some said she spoke with a slight accent. Others said she limped, as though injured long ago. Locals whispered. Rumors spread. The mountains kept her alive. She became part of the forest. Maybe Katherine Savinova never died. Leo couldn't ignore the stories. Deep inside, a fragile hope flickered, one that refused to fade. He knew that one day, he would return to the mountain that took her from him, and find the truth for himself.